What's up guys, it's Ivan and today I am going to read to you a successful statement of purpose for the PhD in Public Policy at Oxford University. Before I get into the video, I do want to remind you that I offer a statement of purpose review service on the freelance platform called Fiverr. When you purchase my service, I will provide you with constructive feedback to help you get into your dream school. I look forward to working with you. Dear PhD Admissions Committee, I am applying to the PhD in Public Policy at Oxford University in pursuit of conducting high-quality research and development economics and actively contributing to bridging the gap between academia and policymaking. My primary interest lies in the intersection of development and labor economics, specifically exploring the impact of restrictive gender norms on women's participation in the labor market. I am particularly interested in how to formulate strategic policies that can effectively challenge and transform these norms in order to ensure women's ability to enter and participate in the labor force. In your introduction for the statement of purpose, you need to do a couple of things, and this applicant does these things really well. So the first thing is that you need to state your research and field of interest. And so this applicant says that they want to conduct high quality research in development economics and actively contribute to bridging the gap between academia and policymaking. So right here, the applicant showcases their goal and why they want to pursue a PhD in public policy. As you can tell, this applicant is very detailed, right? And I want you to be that detailed as well. They say that they want to conduct research in development economics, right? So that's already a subfield of economics. They're not just saying, I want to conduct research in the field of economics. That really doesn't tell much to the reader. Then they say what their goal is with conducting research in this field. They want to bridge the gap between academia, so research, and policy making. So I expect the rest of the statement of purpose to focus on research-driven policy making. The applicant goes further and explains in more detail what exact interests they have. They say that they want to work in the intersection of development and labor economics, particularly with restrictive gender norms on women's participation in the labor market. So I want you to find a niche that you're passionate about within your field, and I want to make sure that you include that in your introduction. But you also need to include evidence that you already do that type of work throughout the statement of purpose. And then at the end, the last sentence that the applicant writes is that what their ultimate goal is, right? So they want to formulate strategic policies that can affect and challenge current policies, and they want to make sure that women's rights and women's abilities to enter the labor market are transformed, right? And so here we see the impact of the work. So when you are writing your introduction for your statement of purpose, you want to make sure that you write the impact of your work. What do you hope your work to do in when you're a PhD student, but also in your career? My academic and professional background has equipped me well for this pursuit. Currently, as a pre-doctoral fellow at NHH Fair, I contributed to 3 randomized control trials and have previously worked on the RISE project at Oxford. Through these roles, I have gained proficiency in econometrics analysis, fieldwork, and experiment design, essential skills for independent research. I hold a research master's degree in economics from the Paris School of Economics with high honors and a bachelor's degree from the University of Gajah Mada, where I graduated as valedictorian. So in this next paragraph, we begin to see a little bit about this applicant's qualifications for a PhD in public policy at Oxford. And so the applicant briefly mentions that they have experience with randomized controlled trial research projects, and particularly 3 of those projects. And they also make a connection to Oxford, why Oxford University might be the best fit for them, because they already have conducted research at Oxford through this project called RISE. And so that's a great thing to do if you do have some connection with your chosen institution that you're applying to. Make sure you write what that connection is. They talk a little bit about what type of skills that they gain. So through these different types of projects, they have been able to gain proficiency in fieldwork, experiment design, as well as econometric analysis, right? And these are essential for public policy research. Then they also mention that they have a master's in economics as well as a bachelor's degree with high honors. I wish that this applicant would have gone a little bit more deeper in explaining some of these research projects, what they did, what the goal was of the project, as well as the outcome or the impact. But because this is a 500-word statement of purpose, I understand why they kind kind of listed some of these accomplishments that contribute or provide evidence to how they are a right fit for Oxford University's PhD in public policy. The realization that impactful research must be complemented by effective communication for informed policymaking has been a pivotal point in my academic journey. This awareness became particularly pronounced during my consultancy at blank. Specifically, I contributed to the design of Indonesia's blank program. In my role, I analyzed the data of blank beneficiaries, gaining first-hand insights into the critical need for evidence-based policymaking. It became clear that robust research findings can drive meaningful change only when effectively communicated and integrated into policy decisions. So here the applicant provides more evidence of how they already attempted to achieve their career goal or what they wrote in their introduction. And so they talk a little bit about how their work with an Indonesian program helped them gain a better understanding of why research-driven policymaking is important. And so they talk a little bit about what they did, right? They analyzed data for beneficiaries of that program, and then they provided first-hand insights into evidence-based policymaking. And so what I want you to do in your statement of purpose, I want you to provide evidence that you already attempted to achieve your goals that you wrote in the introduction. But I don't want you to sound like an expert. I want you to critically analyze those experiences, and I want you to tell the committee what you still need to learn in terms of your skills and knowledge in the field to make a greater impact. And the reason I say this is because if you sound like an expert, then the committee's gonna wonder, why is this person even applying for a PhD program if they don't need to learn anything more, right? I want to remind you that when you are applying to graduate school, or in this case PhD programs, you are applying because you need to learn some type of skill that you can apply to your future career goal, whether it's in research, whether it's practical. And so you can't just sound like you know it all, right? Because then that's telling the committee that you don't need a PhD. So make sure that you integrate some of your weaknesses, some of the challenges that you faced in your work, and what a PhD can do to bridge those skills and knowledge to prepare you to make a greater impact in your field. This shift in perspective has motivated my decision to pursue a PhD in public policy at Oxford University. I aim to develop the skills needed to translate rigorous research into actionable policies. Structuring my approach around two pillars, I specifically plan to focus on generating more buy-in for evidence-based policymaking and refining my capabilities in communication and integrating research findings into policy decisions. In this next paragraph, the applicant describes their lack of skills and knowledge and how a PhD program at Oxford University is going to help bridge those skills and knowledge. Specifically, they want to be able to learn how to better translate rigorous research into actionable policies. And then they talk about two specific points with this goal, right? They want to focus on generating more buy-in for evidence-based policymaking, and they want to refine their capabilities in communicating and integrating research findings into policy decisions. During my doctoral study, I plan to build on the foundations laid by my master's thesis, which investigated the impact of a gender-based conditional cash transfer on women's decision-making. This research aimed to provide empirical evidence that informs more effective policymaking in addressing gendering and inequality. I aim to extend this work by delving into the persistent global gender inequality that impedes women's access to education, autonomy in fertility decisions, leadership representation, and labor market participation. In this next paragraph, the applicant talks a little bit about their goals as a doctoral student. They want to build on the foundation of their master's thesis, and then they describe the topic of their master's thesis. Then they describe what they want to do as a PhD student to push forward or improve the gaps in the literature based on their master's thesis. And so they end with providing their graduate school goals. I am especially eager to work with Professor Blank and Blank, whose expertise aligns with my proposal research on development and behavioral economics. Additionally, I look forward to contributing to Blank's research centers, including the Center for the Study of African Economies and Blank, where interdisciplinary collaboration can enhance my research. So the next paragraph is a why this program and why this institution paragraph. So they talk about two professors whose research and expertise matches what they want to do as a PhD student. And so when you are writing your why this program, why this institution paragraph, you need to name drop 2 to 3 faculty members whose expertise in research matches yours, because you are going to need a chair or an advisor throughout your PhD program, and you want to make sure you make it easier for the committee to be able to align you with the mentor that's going to help mentor you throughout your PhD program. program. Then they mention what they want to like contribute to while they're there. So they want to work at 2 research centers, and then they mention why they want to contribute to those projects. And I want you to do the same exact thing in your statement of purpose. I want you to name drop 2 to 3 different resources that your program provides and why participation in those programs is going to help enhance your research skills as well as your practical skills and knowledge. My commitment to bridging research and policy is evident through my diverse experience, from conducting RCTs in countries such as Indonesia and Tanzania to engaging with policymakers. My practical experience with policy implementation, particularly during the COVID-19 crisis, uniquely positions me to bring a valuable perspective to the academic community at Oxford University. I am confident that the PhD program's rigorous interdisciplinary environment will prepare me to become an effective policy advisor, capable of addressing complex global challenges with evidence-based solutions. So here the applicant ends with describing what they can contribute to the program, the classroom, the institution. And they talk about their unique experiences and how they can contribute a unique perspective and voice to the classroom, to the program, to the institution. And that is what committees are looking for. So in your conclusion, I want you to do 3 things. The first thing is I want you to reiterate what your career goal is and then the impact that your research is going to make. Then I want you to describe what unique perspectives and experiences you bring to the classroom and to the program. And I want you to end with that. Alright guys, so that ends my video on reading a successful statement of purpose for the PhD in public policy at Oxford University. If you have any questions about statement of purpose writing, drop them down in the comments down below and I will answer them as soon as I can. As a reminder, if you want me to help you craft the best, most competitive statement of purpose, click on the Fiverr link in the description down below so I can help you with your statement of purpose. Thank you for watching this video and I will see you in the next video.